neither do we pool the money together and then lend it out. That's the banking sector, not the trust sector, right? So this is just a little bit explanation on the trust industry. All right, okay, so I shall start today's talk about really talk about this retirement planning, estate planning. Now, the first question we want to answer is this: can the surviving spouse continue to retire comfortably? Now, of course, you will be talking to your financial advisors. If not, then you go online, you check your CPF website, and then you key in. There's a lot of websites that says that how much do you need for the retirement, okay? But when you plan these things, usually you plan it as a couple, right? So this is the challenge that a lot of people is not aware that whatever plans that you key in the numbers that you plan using whether your financial advisors provided you the number, like for example, you need 1.2 million for someone that is already 45. If you want to retire at 65, you need 1.2 million, something like that. This kind of figures, which are of course Mr. Loo will share with you about how you can achieve that. But when you work out these numbers, you realize that this number, this 1.2 or 1.5, depending on how old are you today, will actually meant for both of you. Now, this is where the blind spot is, because if you don't do estate planning together with your retirement planning, you will realize that 1.2 or 1.5 million halfway through when one spouse passes away, a lot of money actually disappeared. Now, let me explain why. Right. So when we think about whether the spouse can retire comfortably if one spouse passes away, that means the husband passes away, will the wife continue to be able to retire comfortably? I will identify that these are the 4 important factors to consider. Number 1 itself, do you have sufficient assets? Number 2 itself, when you talk about retiring comfortably, do the surviving spouse has a peace of mind? The third one is that the mental capacity of the surviving spouse, or even both couple itself. Then the last consideration, of course, is the succession of assets. So what happens if you all don't finish using the retirement assets? Obviously, you want your wealth to continue to pass on to the next generation. Now, today's talk is a bit on the shorter side because Luke will be the main speaker here. But I will briefly cover, first of all, we talk about one of the key elements of retirement planning is whether the sufficient assets. Now, this is one of the key things that we like to highlight to you all is that if there's no will, the government has one. Now, this is a crucial impact to a lot of people in the sense that they don't realize that, okay, I got 1.2 million, it should last enough for both of us. And then you forgot to write a will. What happens is that if you don't have the will, the law says that the spouse and the issue means children. Spouse and children, each will get 50%. So unfortunately, that is sometimes what will happen because they never write a will, right? So that 1.2 million end up the surviving spouse only gets 600,000 because the other 600,000 got distributed to the children immediately upon the death of one spouse. So this is always a challenge that people do not realize that shouldn't you leave behind all the money to your surviving spouse first, and only after he or she never finish using the money, then it goes to the children. Now, if that is your plan, then I will suppose that you will understand that you need to do a will, because if you don't do a will, the government's plan for you is the law says that your children will get 50%. Now, you don't want to have an awkward situation where your surviving spouse will go and ask the other children that can you give me back Abba's remaining 600,000? Yeah, okay. Then your children says, don't worry lah, Mama, I will take care of you. You know, I keep the money for you first. Now, it's a very awkward family situation. We do not recommend that to have that kind of conversations ongoing. In fact, plan properly. If you want to give some money to your children upon the demise of one spouse, you can always like put a specific gift of 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. But the main part of the money, it becomes very challenging if you do not have sufficient assets to share around with your children at the moment one person passes away. You want to keep to ensure that there's sufficient assets for the surviving spouse. Now, the other aspects of it that we want to discuss about is the peace of mind. Now, this is one of the most underrated issue that people don't pay attention to. Usually, they will just leave it to the other surviving spouse to sort it out. Yeah, obviously during retirement itself, this is not the time where you go around and get into bitter disputes with your in-laws, your children, and this is a horror case where the Buntat Street itself, the woman actually got swindled away, supposedly got swindled away, or you know, he perceived as that his business was taken over by the son-in-law, and not only that, the son-in-law actually had an affair and going to divorce the daughter, so they're going to lose everything, and therefore he went on to stab the man to death. And we hope that this kind of situation itself doesn't happen. That's why we talk about retirement planning itself. You must have the peace of mind, right? And this is one of the cases that we want to talk about is the estate of Sun Hwee Min versus this Yang Chia-ying. Now, this Yang Chia-ying itself, this case itself is that there's this couple. So we are talking about old couples. So this old couple itself, you have the uncle, which is Yang Chun, and then the spouse of Yang Chun, which is Sun Hwee Min. Now, these two of them been loving couple. They moved to Singapore from Taiwan for more than 40 years. And they have a nephew, Yang Chun has a nephew called Yang Chia-ying. And Yang Chia-ying itself visited the uncle every single week, bring his own children to visit uncle. So let me ask you, there's a Yang Chun trust Yang Chia-ying? Of course. Right. During his lifetime, Yang Chun asked Yang Chia-ying to go and use his money from his bank account to pay their workers, maid, salary, settle all the utility bills. So Yang Chia-ying is very well trusted. And Yang Chun supposedly did a smart thing, which is inside his will, he set aside 300,000 to take care of Sun Hwee Min, his wife, to take care of her remaining life expenses. 300,000, quite decent amount, right? At the same time, there was a joint bank account of $510,000 with Sun Hwee Min. So Yang Chun has a $510,000 worth of joint bank account with Sun Hwee Min, but he also added Yang Chia-ying inside this joint bank account. So total, there are 3% in the joint bank account. Now, unfortunately, and the scary part of it is that the moment Yang Chun passes away, within 1 week itself, Yang Chia-ying went to the joint bank account and withdraw all the $510,000. Right. And the 300,000 that was set under the trust in the will itself, for Sun Hwee Min itself, Yang Chia-ying don't want to pay. So and at the point when Yang Chun passes away, Sun Hwee Min was actually in a dementia vegetable stage. And end up, luckily, Sun Hwee Min herself, she has also her own nephew, which is Howard. And Howard have to go to court and sue Yang Chia-ying. First of all, to get Yang Chia-ying to take out the money from the estate to pay for the hospital expenses of Sun Hwee Min, which runs up to about 100 plus 200K. After that, go for another round of lawsuit. And the lawsuit itself was the joint bank account, which is $510,000, which actually vast majority are actually Sun Hwee Min's personal money. So this is the question where you see the thing is that you all set aside the money for the surviving spouse, but do you have someone entrusted to ensure that this money are actually passed on to the surviving spouse, and whether your surviving spouse will have a peace of mind in handling all the monies, because it could have been siphoned away by people that you think that can be trusted, but you know, I mean, if you don't trust the person that visit you every single week with their children, who else can you trust, right? Now, the other part of it is that what we see a lot of families make a mistake is is that they pass the problem to the surviving spouse. Now, this is the story of this Flying Goose restaurant in Hong Kong, which is a very famous one. So the old Petrach itself, do the very old school way of things. You look at the way they dress, and in the end, the way they do things is like what people do for the last 3,000 years of Chinese history. Now, as usual, they split the shares to the companies into the two sons that he is the apple of his eye. Then those the smaller son, youngest son, and the youngest daughter are a little bit share, and then give a very important 10% stake to the wife. Now, this is the part where it's a very long story. We have the more detailed discussion in our business succession talk. For those people who are interested, please do attend our business succession talk. Right. And this is the part where why you see the picture of the mother crying is because the two sons, the elder son and second son, start fighting in the court. And the mother was swinging from one side of the family to the other side of the family to swing back here and swing back there because of the 10% share. Right. So her 10% share, at one stage, she will side with the elder son. So it becomes the 45%. Then later, it swing over again back to Ronald, and here and there. It was a very complex and a very upsetting for the surviving spouse. So the thing of what we want to conclude is that the peace of mind, when you divide your assets, will your spouse have a peace of mind? And peace of mind and mental capacity is two different things. Right? Peace of mind means that you are still clear in your senses, but you have influence from left side, right side, left side, right side, and that's where you get a bit you become conflicted by all the emotions of managing the money when you are most vulnerable. Mental capacity is talk about the fact that the person is really dementia, and this is a Singapore case. A Singapore case where the Dr. Paul, a very well-respected doctors from SGH, worked in SGH all her life, and at the age of 87, she passed away. But the 5 to 10 years before she passed away, she's really mentally incapable, right? And it was very sad that when the doctor was asked by the lawyer that to subject 7 from 100, she answered 200. And yet the lawyer actually processed the sale of the house because these two men that she befriended in her neighborhood. Who is these two men? Construction workers that was renovating a house down the road. And then they came to her house, fix some things for her house. When old folks they always need people to fix things in their home. And then after that, 2 of them befriend the maid, and the 3 of them, plus the lawyer, conspire to cheat her money. Right. And in the end itself, it was very, very sad case because they got because the main part of this Dr. Paul's Dr. Freda money was actually in her house, and they sold the house, buy a smaller house for her, then pocketed the differences. So the maid took $2 million and went back to Sri Lanka and claimed that this money was a gift for her good services to Dr. Freda. The maid has only worked for Dr. Freda for only a few years. And she claimed that till today, that $2 million is not recovered. And these 2 men, till today, they are not jailed. Okay? So these are the parts where we need to highlight to you all that during your retirement years, you are fragile, you are vulnerable, and your surviving spouse will be very vulnerable. So do please plan carefully. This lady has managed her inheritance from her parents for 30 years. And when at the age of 72, when she needed the money most, she was in one go swindle away vast majority of it, 4 million ringgit, which is about $1.3 million. And she can only put out a sad face with a police report. What else can she do? What else can she survive on? So we have to tell you all that estate planning is very important as your retirement planning, because when one person passes away, do you have a shield? Do you have a lump system to protect against all these not so nice people? right? Okay, the last thing that we want to quickly share is that another important thing we want to share about for my component is the succession of assets. Obviously, it's important because there is most likely leftover assets. And you know, for a lot of our retirees, our upcoming retirees, you will have assets that you want to hand over to your next generation. There was a fantastic property boom. You have a fantastic chance to accumulate your monies and in your CPF and so on and so forth. Now, it's very important that your succession of assets needs to be carefully considered. And this is one of the most frequently asked questions. Because Singaporeans like to do the things cheap. Okay. So, and this is what you usually like to do. You jointly own all your assets, which just now I already talked about the Sun Hui Min case. Jointly own assets. I also have a few more case studies. And how about just now you look at the intestate table and say that my intentions are similar to intestate table. That means you die without a will, the government has one for you. That is called intestate, right? Do you need a will? Let me explain to you the challenges if you don't have a will. Now, first one itself, we will just want to illustrate under the intestate table, the court makes it very difficult for you because all the relationships that you see on the table itself, you must prove those relationships. So if you have a sibling of 6 to 7 of you, and the sibling that died without a will, and he or she don't have children, of course, all the siblings were happy. So all these siblings are happy that they see that they are getting money, but they find it is very difficult to get the money. Why? The reason is because the court requires you to prove that you are brothers and sisters. But how do you prove? How do you prove that you're brother and sister? You need to show that your parents' marriage cert, birth cert, death cert. Okay. Then after that, all of you, your marriage cert, death cert, birth cert if you die. And in a lot of cases, some cases itself, the brothers and sisters or the siblings itself can even have moved overseas and uncontactable. And if one person is missing, the whole process gets delayed. Now today, of course, Loo is sharing about CPF. And CPF makes it things difficult. If you don't do your CPF nomination, you face exactly the same problem. And these people write into the forum to complain that, wow, the public trustee officer, asked for old Malaysian IC, mother-in-law, British colonial era birth certificate. So the story, the moral of the story is do your CPF nomination and make sure that your nomination have subsidy beneficiaries. You're wondering how is that be done. And of course, you can explore our Property Trust product to find out how you can distribute your CPF monies with better intent over a period of time rather than just one lump sum. Right. So the number one problem I have to tell you is that if you pass away without a will, they end up your spouse won't get your money because there's a lot of delay in distributing your assets, distributing the assets because why they need to go through this very lengthy process of identifying, proving their identity to the court or to the CPF board, to the public trustee office. Public trustee office handles the CPF money distribution upon someone's demise. Now, the second reason I would like to highlight to you all that why it's important that you should need to do will even if you have joint assets. Now, this is a case where you have the brother CSK suing another brother CSF. CFF is the executor of the father's estate. And this CSK is out, that means brother one, okay, the younger brother. So the younger brother is suing the older brother. Why? Because the younger brother says that father has a lot of joint bank account. Why I didn't get a share of the joint bank account? Let me say again. The younger brother sued the older brother, who is administering the estate of the father, because he feels that there is a lot of joint bank account assets that father has, but why aren't it distributed to him? As you can see from here is that the father died in 2015 there was a joint bank account of 200,000, then there was a 40,000, and there was another $70,000, right? All these, including joint bank account with the mother. So that means the wife of the deceased. So he was suing for all this money. Doesn't look like a lot of money, right? Yeah, you see, that's the thing. Yeah, if you think that you just have $50,000 joint bank account with your wife, then another 50,000 joint bank account with your daughter, for convenience sake, you can end up in a court. Yes. So in the end itself, the moral of the story is that luckily the father actually wrote the will. And because the father wrote a will and he clearly stated in his will that how he want the joint bank accounts to be distributed, right? So the court found that just follow the will, lucky. And then and basically actually ignore all the sons, their younger sons lawsuit, and the younger son's lawsuit against the executor failed, right? So this is the part where a lot of people don't realize that oh, I just write a simple will, I give then the joint bank account, there will be a right of ownership under the terms and conditions of the bank. But this is not how the court system works out. Whatever that the bank's terms and conditions say that the survivor will take all this can be overruled by the court. So that is why important is that when you have all this joint bank account, you with your daughter, because you want it to set it as a convenient for them to go and help you pay your bills and all this, but your intent is to give it to your wife, okay, please make sure you write in your will, right? If you don't know how all this, please make sure that you come and talk to our estate and succession practitioner. Now, another concept we would like to share with you, for those people who have attended our wills and trust talk, we also briefly talk about this concept. And we are talking about succession assets. We talk about the Whitney Houston case. Now, the Whitney Houston case is a very classic positive example, because in her will itself, she says that she didn't allow the daughter to inherit all the money in one go, but over a period of time. And she put in substitute beneficiaries in case the daughter doesn't achieve the goals that she set up for her, or the daughter passes early. So Christina really died young at 22. And thank goodness, because she set up this the will in this manner itself, then in the end itself, the mother, that means Whitney Houston mother actually inherited most of the money rather than Bobby Brown, the ex-spouse, right? So this is one of the concepts that we want to share with you all. Again, remind you all again that now when you pass on to your spouse. Then after that, you pass on to your children. But if you pass on to your siblings, then it may also end up with your in-laws. That means your siblings, wife, and sibling husband. The question we always want to ask is this: how well do you know your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law, your son-in-law, your daughter-in-law, to pass them most of your family wealth? Shouldn't you pass it down to your own family? Right. The other idea, the third idea we want to share with you on succession assets is this: called the concept of life tenancy. Now, the concept of life tenancy is one of the most neglected, unknown concept that a lot of people does not aware of. Is one of these is that the beneficiary, or in your will itself, the beneficiaries can actually be set to enjoy the assets, but not the ownership of the assets, right? Okay, this one we will share more on our property succession talk, but I would like to briefly highlight to you that it can be done in a sense that while after the person passes away, your property itself, okay, your beneficiary can get to stay in the house, but does not own the title deed. So your spouse, because she get to stay in the house, but she don't own the title deed, right? Then the children cannot come and pressurize her to sell the house, right? Yeah, Mama, you don't need such a big house lah. You know, sell it lah. Then after that you downgrade, you know. Then the mama say, but I love this house. I've been staying here for the last 40 years. You know, she can't make this kind of decision. Because why? Because she don't own the title deed. The estate hold on to the title deed. The estate holds on to the 51% of the title deed, 50% of the title deed. And so therefore it controls the property. And remember just now, one of the problems we talked about is peace of mind. So the peace of mind using life tenancy concept can be achieved. Okay, so we call this now my money I control versus my money I don't care. So if you want to use the life tenancy concept, do talk to our estate and succession practitioner. Now, of course, one of the last thing that you talk about succession of your assets for retirement is to highlight to you all that, you know, under the intestate table, if you don't have children, and so on and so forth, you know, the government will actually take everything. Don't think that it's not true. It is true. It is set in the law, right? Okay. So please do consider writing your will. If not, then you have like this nice gentleman himself. You know, retiree. He feel that he. So I hope that a lot of you achieve success from Mr. Loo's sharing down the road, and then you have accumulated 2 or 3 more million or 1 or 2 more million assess funds. Then you can do charity. So if you want to know how to do all these kind of charity acts, do talk to us. We can help you structure such that while you're alive, you have a peace of mind in your retirement. You don't scare people scam you. You are not scared that when you are mentally incapacitated, people take away your money. And then when your spouse passes on, you can do you are not influenced by people or your family members or people that you think you can trust. Okay, and at the same time, when both of you passes on, you all can do some very nice charity acts, right? So this is PreceptsGroup. We do wills and trusts. So please do. I hope that you all can actually come for 1 hour. 1 hour this consultation, right? Okay, and we are going to, for those people who are interested in our complimentary 1 hour consultation, okay, please actually indicate our poll. If you already have done so, you can actually you can not do this. But for those people who are interested, just feel free to indicate. If you're not interested, actually don't need to answer the poll. But nevertheless, yeah. Okay, we just give a good, 5-10 seconds. For those people, today's session itself will be short. We are not able to actually share too much on this. Yeah. I'll probably flash this down the road. If you want to find out, you like some of the ideas that we are sharing, yeah, do indicate. And for those people who really previously attended our talks, you know, I think you already have a conversation with our estate and succession. Just a reminder that the first 1 hour consultation to find out whether our services meet your needs, you can actually, it's free actually. Yeah. All right. Okay. And before I hand over to Mr. Loo itself, okay, I will have, okay, I'll just end this later. I will actually come back to you all. Now, the other one is that we have actually a series of talks, right? And later I will also flash this up again. And let me see. Okay, we also have a series of talk. Next one is Mr. Samuel Hwee. Mr. Samuel Hwee is how to build a retirement portfolio effectively with new technologies, right? Okay, so that component itself is that they will be sharing some of the new technologies that they have using the robo-advisors, right? So that will be on the 9th November, 7:30 p.m., which is also a weekday night. Then for those people who haven't really attended our Wills Estate Planning and Trust talk, that will be on the 13th November, Saturday mornings. And if you own more than 1 property, if you own 1 property but quite a good value, right? And you are wondering how you can split among your 2 children, 3 children, your grandchild, and you want to more details understanding what is this, allow my wife to stay in the house, but then after that, after she passed on, all this concept itself, all the detailed case studies, I'll be sharing on the 27th November, Saturday morning. So for those people who are interested to hear more about this talk, you can actually indicate in this session itself. All right. Okay. So that's about it for my segment itself. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I see some still very good response coming in. Right, we'll be sending you the registration links after the talk itself. All right. Okay. Okay, I'm going to end the poll here. Hand over to Mr. Loo and or Loo, you always, and so that he can start sharing about this fantastic topic, the Kungfu behind 1M48. He's well known for his 1M45, and today he's 1M48, and he's a 1M48A, which means that he actually achieved this by himself, right? Okay, I'm going to end the poll now, and yeah, Lou, I hand it over to you. So for those people who have questions, please feel free to put it in the Q&A, and then we both of us will answer the questions. Oh, okay. Okay, understand. I think our poll setting is a bit of a, yeah, actually you can attend all the three. No worries, we will send you all the registration for all the trees. Yeah, all right.
Okay. Am I live right now?
Yes, you are, and
okay.
I'll disappear from the screen.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks. Really thanks, and thanks everybody for joining this talk. Tonight is quite special. If you see me right now, I actually got 3 screens. You know, I've got a YouTube screen, I've got a Zoom screen, I've got a Telegram, video chat screen. And right now on video chat, actually I don't know how many people. I'm trying out. There are 14 participants here, 34 on YouTube, and I think I've got 300 people on Zoom. So really, very nice, warm welcome. I'm back in Singapore. I was already in Europe for 2 months. 2 months is a long time, you know, and I really was longing to come back. You know, the Euro experience has taught me a lot of things. I'll be writing some articles on it as well. So for those people who has joined us, and don't know me, my name is Loo Cheng Chuan. I'm the founder of the 1M65 movement. It's a non-profit movement aiming to help many people in Singapore and rest of the world to become millionaires. Okay, and we have a huge community right now on Telegram. But more importantly, right now we have a YouTube channel that's just set up, and in a YouTube channel, I will encourage everybody to go and subscribe. I'll be publishing a lot more YouTube videos on some money making tips and things like that. And I'm not keen in making small money. I'm here to educate everybody how to become rich in making big money. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. No, don't just go to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe and click like, you know, and set the alert so that when I go live, you guys can when I go live and load up the videos, you guys can listen to it. A quick one as well. Today I have just got my booster jab. Okay, it's quite an interesting experience. So I got my 3rd jab. Arm is a little bit painful. For some of you who has not got your booster jab yet, you know, please and you are eligible for it, please go for it. Okay, and together, you know, I think that we can with proper, you know, social distancing protocols and a booster jab, I think we can all defeat it. I just came back from Europe. I think Europe, I don't think is having a pandemic anymore. You know, and largely because a major part of their population has been swept one round by the virus, and in some sense, sadly, you know, those people that would have not survived have not survived already. But those people who survived and now have strong antibodies, you know, it's as though as and they have got their 2 vaccinations. So it's almost like a booster jab. You know, they're very strong now. So you can go Europe right now. It's like nothing. You know, it's like a non-event. You know, and I strongly encourage everybody to really experience. Really hope that Singapore will get to experience it's almost like a Europe round. Nobody give a darn about the virus anymore. Okay, I went there first 2 weeks. I was chicken like nobody's business. Was very careful. After 2 weeks, to hell with it. You know, I live like there's no COVID. You know, so it was a very enjoyable experience over there in Europe in this aspect. Okay, so I'm happy to share. I'll be sharing a YouTube video on what I think will happen to Singapore economy, investment opportunity in a post pandemic experience. Okay, so before I start the talk, you would like strongly encourage everybody, you have questions, you can put it down in Q&A. I was reminded by Heng to ask you guys to put down Q&A. You can put down a chat as well, and I'll definitely spend more time addressing your Q&A. Okay, yeah, all right, cool. Okay, am I muted? Sorry, I just want to check whether I'm muted on the Telegram. Okay. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Now I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me on Telegram. Oh gosh, I've been muted for the last 5 minutes. Okay. All right, good. Okay, let's go. I will share my slides right now. Gosh, how do I do this? All right, cool. Okay. For those people who join us, oh, cool. For those people who join us on Telegram, I'm just trying out a video chat function. I would strongly encourage you guys to migrate over to the YouTube and migrate over the YouTube channel, okay, or the Zoom link, okay. And for those people who got over to the YouTube channel, please remember to hit subscribe, okay. All right, today the topic tonight is on Kungfu. I call it just being a bit playful. Kungfu 1M48A, okay. And the title is really an unusual path to be an earlier millionaire. Now there are many millionaires now in Singapore. You know, I was told that many times by many Singaporeans who says that, you know, Lou, what's the big deal? You know, you throw one stone, you know, you hit many millionaires. Right? So the appeal I have to you is that now I'm going to give you an earlier and more convincing path to be an earlier millionaire. Okay, an earlier millionaire, and I wish that and it really is my wish that everybody will become well-to-do, and that will set you free to do wonderful things in your life. Okay. Disclaimer again, I do not work. I'm going to talk a lot about CPF. Everybody calls me Mr. CPF, but the truth is that I'm not related to CPF at all. Okay, neither am I related to the government of Singapore. I'm not even sure whether the government of Singapore likes me. But because some of the times, some of the things I say, you know, they may not like me to talk about. For example, today I'm going to talk about a very controversial topic, and I think the government may not like me to talk about it. Okay, so but you know, I think they're beneficial to many people, so I'm going to share with everybody. Okay, so today anchor on our conversation today is this concept of compound interest. Okay, and in the world of creating wealth, okay, there are a lot of people that spend a lot of time working very hard, very hard, and yet they don't make as much money. Okay, and there are a lot of people, I think in your life you must have experienced that before. They work not so hard, and yet they make a hell of money. Okay, and one of the reasons why, and not the only reasons why, is that they appreciate this power of compounding. Okay, and what is compounding? What is compound interest? And I think for those people who have followed me for a long time, over the last few years, we experienced compounding. You know, well, the graph goes like this when your interest rate is good enough. Okay, I will not spend too much time on compound interest because I'm going to one slide on it. Let's talk about this one. Okay, this is a very sensitive chart. I've thought about it many times whether I show or not. You know, some people think I house sell and things like that. So I thought, okay, share, you know, and in the spirit of transparency. Okay, so today I went to take a look at all my CPF balances. Okay, so on my CPF balances right now, my CPF balances right now is 668,000, and that comprises of an ordinary account, special account, MediSave account. Okay, and I've actually been a big fan of the S&P 500. I talk about it, I sing about it, I sell about it, I put a YouTube video about it, you know, and try and encourage everybody to be interested in it. And still, a lot of people are skeptical about it, you know. But the truth is, right now the S&P 500 is at an all-time high. Okay, so I've benefited on it. So the middle chart, I've actually invested the S&P 500 through endowers is sitting on a 50% profit. Okay, and I invested that 1 year ago. Okay, and that's quite a cool number. And I've actually got some other S&P 500 invested years ago, and this funds on Fund Supermart is invested about maybe 1.5 decades ago. Today, each of these S&P 500 through my OA, those days you can invest OA through S&P 500. Today, I think only endowers can do it. I don't know why. I think it's something about the fees and things like that. So each of these S&P 500 has been doing well as well, and I got only one share on my CPF, which is SATS, SATS. I bought it for a long time ago. Today is sitting 100% return, but it's not big anyway. So combined together all this, which I just crossed 1 million. Okay, so it's 1,025,000. So this is not and this doesn't include my housing money, money that I put into my house through my CPF. These are in that sense, very liquid wealth. Okay, just to show it's possible. Now, ever since I published the article 1M48A, quite a few people wrote to me and say that they actually have achieved it as well. But most of them did 1M49, 1M50. Okay, so far I have only got myself at 1M48, and I take a little pride in it, but it's just not so much pride. But my point is that I'm happy to actually achieve the milestone. I'm happy that other people have also achieved the milestone. So this is not just a personal achievement of my own. Okay. So what are the steps needed to achieve 1M48A? Okay. Number one is that you really need to appreciate the power of compounding. Okay. And about 29 years ago, I met my financial mentor who taught me the power of compounding, and I started building my financial safety net with my CPF. Okay. And what we did was that we appreciate that compounding will actually grow very fast, and a lot of people believe that the way to make money in the stock market is to buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high. For most people, I can assure you right now, to make that kind of money is very difficult. Okay, even fairly professional investors like me can't do it. Okay, so maybe the other alternative is really to look for an asset that gives you a high return. Okay, find this asset, leave it there, and keep feeding you with money. Okay, and let it grow. Okay, so $1 at 4% over 30 years will give you 3 times return, and $1 at 8% will give you 10 times. $1 at 10% will give you 17 times. And I appreciated that from a long time, and I'm very happy to found that actually our CPF compounds powerfully. Our ordinary account has an interest of 2.5% and possibly up to additional percent of 3.5%. Your special account, MediSave account, retirement account has a 4% interest. 4% interest, and the first 60,000 grows up to first 60,000 grows up to 5%. And I think when you hit 55 years old, the next 30,000 can give you 1 more percent, up to 6%. So you combine all this together, you get a huge return. Okay, huge return. And it is something that I really want everybody to appreciate, that our CPF is not a house sale tool. In fact, I like to call it that it's a get-rich tool. Okay, it's a get-rich tool. Is not the CPF is a get-rich tool. It's not a retirement tool per se. Okay, once you think of retirement, think of very sian thing. Think of people dying old and things like that. But when you think of getting rich, you're more excited. Okay. So what did I do when I was young? Very simple. Me and my wife quickly top up our MediSave and our special account as much as you can. Those days, the limit was about 130,000. And I calculated out, I figured out this formula, max out to full our MediSave account and special account, and let it compound at 4% over 30, 35 years, we have 1 million each. A lot of people were very excited about this. Initially, not actually, to think about it, when I started off this, there's a lot of skeptics. But by now, I think the skeptics have, majority of them have changed to believers. The news have changed because anti-government websites don't believe in it, and so on, right? And we still have 20, 30% of people in the population who hates the government and just refuse to believe it, and that's fine. I don't need to win everybody's mind, okay? I'm not getting elected as a politician. However, at that point in time, there was a huge criticism. He says, hey, Mr. Loo, you think house sale, house sale, I don't know what's, how do you say house in English? This thing BS, no? This thing is a pack of a bull, because a lot of people say that this is one couple. How can you say 1M65 is 0.5 M65? You know, this is 1 million, no count. You know, the kind of thing, right? So I was trying to put the bar low for a family so that everybody can work towards it. If I set the bar too high, everybody see it too difficult to want to achieve. So over time, I came out with articles teaching people how to achieve 1M45 as a couple, even 4M65 and things like that, you know. But the heart of it, there's one big question mark is, you know, how early can you achieve 1 million as an individual, right? And practically, there's some theoretical concept, you know. I wrote about it as well, and please, and we talked about it in my YouTube channel. And please, for those people on our YouTube channel, that idiot people there right now, can you please subscribe to my YouTube channel, please? I really appreciate it. Thank you. But let's going back to this point. You know, if everybody were to appreciate this power of compounding, right? Now, how much can you stretch? So what I did was that I say, okay, I'm going to push as much as I can and see what I can achieve. Okay. So I actually worked very hard and found that I can actually achieve 1M48. Okay. 1M48. Now I just crossed from 40 to 49. So it's only 1 day. One day I achieved it. Okay. So now what are the components? And you have to, so the first component is max out your special account and MediSave account as much as you can and don't touch it. I don't know why some people, especially the people in the finance field, actually are trying to encourage people to buy insurance plan, investment plan with their special account. Please don't ever do that. Your special account is almost unbeatable at 4% at riskless. Okay, almost unbeatable. So the first principle is max out your special account, MediSave account as early as you can. To be frank, I'm already late. I only started 30 years, about 29, 30 years old. Right now, we have got young Kinapa in our 1M65 group, no? They started off in their early 20s, working and filling it up. I've got more and more people coming and write to me very regularly and say, thank you, no, I'm only 20 something years old. I've achieved my full retirement sum because I work my ass out and things like that, you know, and save as much, you know. I'm very impressed with them, okay? Anyway, the second thing I want everybody to appreciate is to appreciate the S&P 500 or an equivalent global index, okay? A lot of people, you see the problem with Singaporeans is that we only invest in what we're familiar with. And what we're familiar with is a Singapore stock market. You're familiar with Singtel. You're familiar with StarHub. You're familiar with many of the REITs and dividends company. But here I am. I've been saying this for years. You know, appreciate S&P 500. No, I never asked you to invest in S&P 500. I'm asking you to appreciate S&P 500. The S&P 500 is made up of the top 500 global companies listed in US. Okay, and these are not just US companies that cover US. A lot of them are global companies. The S&P 500. If you look at this graph over last 100 years since the index began, has always been going up. You know, if you draw a similar graph for the other index, then it's not quite the same. Yes, there are times where there are fluctuations, but if you take a 30-year gap, you know, it always goes up by a phenomenal 8 to 12%, especially in the last few years, go up phenomenally even more. In fact, last year to now, it went up. I think for the last few days, it's breaking record after record after record. You know, so it grows at you know, taking account of a long period of time, it grows at annualized growth rate of 8 to 12%. It's very well diversified. All the companies inside the S&P 500 are very well diversified. Most of them are diversified across many geographies and industry. So therefore, S&P 500 is really a powerful index. You know, it's a powerful index that you know has been a good alternative to what everybody is used for in Singapore, which is anything from the SGX. And anyway, so if I were to blow up that slide, for me, the S&P 500 has done very well for me. You know, S&P 500. Some people say, yeah, I know I can pick stocks in Singapore and do even better. Okay, well, let's try this. So the S&P 500 for last 1 year, last 1 year has I put $300,000 inside in three tranches during the COVID crash. He has returned me 52%. Okay, that's $100,000. Okay, and he has fast tracked my the 1 million milestone by at least 2 to 3 years. And just in case if you think that it's just opportunistic, I actually have S&P 500 invested 1.5 decades ago. They have returned a profit of 200%. Okay, and it is a small sum of money because those days I invest less in it. Okay, so it is very clear that S&P 500 is a powerful engine, and I strongly encourage everybody to appreciate it. Okay, to appreciate it. Now, someone asked me a question. I go back to the earlier slide. Say, hey, Mr. Loo, S&P 500 gone up so much already, all-time high. Still can buy, me? I cannot answer this question whether can buy or cannot buy. But I can tell you that the S&P 500, if you look at the graph that I'm showing right now, and for those people on the Telegram video chat, take a look at it on YouTube. You'll find that actually the S&P 500 has been growing almost non-stop for the last many years. At almost any point in time, it was an all-time high. So if you decided at somewhere around 2009 that it was an all-time high, so you don't buy, between S&P 500 at all-time high in 2009, okay, till now, it has gone up by close to that time was maybe about 1,005, gone up 3 times. Something, 3 times. So it's a very big number. So again, right? I personally, again, I'm well diversified across all my assets right now. But the textbook answer will be, do a dollar cost averaging over time. Be very disciplined, dollar cost averaging over time, and then after that, don't bother about it, because if you bother about it, you'll get cold feet and things like that. Okay, so therefore, I strongly encourage everybody to appreciate the power S&P 500. I've made money in S&P 500. Yes, fast tracked my 1M. Yes, fast tracked my 1M mark in my CPF by at least 3 to 4 years. Okay, I would have been waited until 1M 55 or 54 to be hit 1M, but the S&P 500 really helped me. Okay, the S&P 500, the reason why it could grow so well and is well diversified is because it has a strong representation by high growth companies, and I think about 25 to 30% of the index is made up of by these giant companies. Okay, and a lot of them are high tech. Okay. These are Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook. Now Tesla is in, and so on. And Berkshire Hathaway is in as well. Berkshire Hathaway is owned by Warren Buffett. Okay, and it's well balanced by non-tech as well. So it's a very strong index, and it's something that I want everybody to appreciate. Okay, and it's a good alternative to everybody what you're comfortable with. Generally with the Singapore stock market. And by the way, the Singapore stock market, especially the STI index, has been very disappointing and continue to be very disappointing. Okay, I also at this juncture want to say that some people say, yeah, US economy not so good. I only grow 1 to 2% a year and things like that. I want to invest in China. Okay, I want to maybe invest in Singapore even better. I want to say this very controversial topic, okay, that the stock market performance and the economic performance of a country may not mirror each other. Say again. China economy is growing very strongly doesn't mean that China's stocks are growing very strongly, right? It's two different things. The US economy has been very flattish, not very strong, but the US stock market has been growing very strong. Okay, the correlation is not there at all. So if you look at this chart, the below chart shows the China GDP. Okay, since the 2010, it's been growing very, very strong. 7, 8, 10%. But the Shanghai index, you look at it, it's very flat. In fact, since 2008, it has never recovered. There was a big crash in 2008, never recovered since then. So stock market and economy does especially across the index doesn't go in correlation. Okay, let's take a look at something closer to home. Let's take a look at the Singapore economy. The Singapore economy, if the graph below, has been growing. Has been growing at very decently, not fantastic, but decently over the years. It has crashed a bit because of COVID. But if you track over the last 10 to 12 years, it's going up pretty decently. Look at the stock market, actually pretty xia sui. You know what xia sui? Xia sui means embarrassing, right? The stock market has crashed. As the stock market, STI index has crashed from about 3,800 points in 2007 since the global financial crisis, and since that day till now, it's been more than 12 to 13 years. It has never recovered. Yet the economy continues to rise. The stock market performance may not mirror the economic performance. Okay, so everybody got to realize that, and the U.S. economy does not mirror the performance the S&P 500 does not mirror the performance of the US economy. And I'll be happy to take some question on this. It's a very controversial point, okay? The third point I want to drive it towards 1M48A is this, okay? 1M48A stands for 1 million by 48. And I wanted to share with everybody this, okay? That there's nothing wrong with staying in HDB, okay? And in Singapore, there's this passion madness called upgrading, and says that if you move from a HDB to a condo, is called an upgrade. And if you move from from HDB to a non-HDB like a semi bungalow, is called upgrade. Okay, I think that maybe the right word for most people is called a trade-off. Okay, you're trading off by spending a lot of your CPF money, again, possibly your cash as well, to move from an HDB, okay, to a private house. If you buy a HDB, you most likely would have more of your CPF funds put inside to be able to compound. And we already saw the power of compounding. It's a very powerful thing. But if you go and empty your CPF account and use to buy property, yeah, your property may rise or things like that, but your CPF will be very empty. Now, one thing I take note is that most people, when they buy a house, especially a big house, they will pick up a housing loan. And in today's terms, the housing loan are very big housing loan. Very few people take up small housing loan. And by having big housing loan, you really have one big insecurity. That's called job loss. Well, that's not so much a problem in the past on job loss. But in the modern world right now, in the COVID environment, job loss is a very, very real thing. There's a lot of insecurity. If you have a job loss, if you have a job loss, you may not be able to service your housing loan. So therefore, I don't like to live that kind of life where I have insecurity. So I would be strongly encouraging everybody, to live within your means. Allow more of your CPF fund to compound. I can easily buy a private property, but I choose to stay HDB my whole life. And one thing is that by not allowing yourself to move, so-called up this lifestyle inflation, you free yourself from certain expectation of life, and you could live life happier, and your money could be free up to do a lot more things of your passion. And that's called lifestyle inflation. We need to watch ourselves carefully from it. Okay, I don't think anybody ever looked down on me staying in HDB before. I've never encountered. It's like, you stay in HDB so lousy and things like that. I don't think in a Singapore environment there are many people who dare to say that. Okay, so in that sense, there's nothing wrong with staying HDB, and let's not get fanatical about needing to move to a private property to please people, and after that, incur yourself with a lot of loans, and more importantly, you miss out the compounding power of a CPF. So right now we have got 305 people on Zoom and about 100 people on YouTube, and we've got 14 people on Telegram. Welcome everybody, but if you could, from those Telegram, you migrate over to YouTube, and for those of you on YouTube, please remember, hit subscribe. Okay. Next. This is the very controversial topic. called having two jobs. Okay. Before I wrote this article, many people didn't know that there is about this. In fact, there are follow-up articles written by other people saying they don't believe it or they were shocked by it and things like that. This is called the magic of a dual income. Okay, magic of dual income. So when you work in one job, the maximum CPF contribution you can make every year is 37,740. Okay, that's the maximum you can contribute after you hit your full retirement sum. But that's on a per job. So you've got two jobs. Very few people know that your CPF contribution limit goes up by another 37,740. If you've got three jobs, it go up by another 37,740. Okay, so it's job dependent. Okay, so if you work on two jobs, you get two salary and you enjoy two streams of CPF contribution. Now, so let's say I've got two jobs and I do, let's say each of them pays me $6,000. Then I'll enjoy two streams of CPF contribution compared to someone who only who get $12,000. You only get one stream of CPF contribution capped at 6,000. So this is a very interesting concept. Now, a lot of people say that this is a very controversial thing. I'm very good at raising very controversial financial topics. Okay. In the past, I will agree that this is very difficult to do because most companies will not allow you to work two jobs. Most of them won't, especially Singapore conservative environment. They don't allow you. However, I think in a post-COVID environment, a lot of employers know that they cannot offer job security to employees anymore. Okay, they know that their positions in their positions in the position of the company is very shaky. So if they can't promise you job loyalty and job security, you know, then why limit people from having two jobs? As long as they can manage their job, you know. So I think the world right now is a lot more open. You know, I think you can afford to talk to your employer and say that, you know, I'm considering a part-time job at night to work certain things. It doesn't interfere with this job of mine. You know, I think it's a lot more. The world is in a more open environment right now. So I'm a consultant. I'm a consultant to a company, and I work in our company. So I must say that for me, it's easier because one of the company I help to co-found, so it's a lot easier. But I think it is quite common for blue collar workers to work multiple jobs. You know, it is a professional that normally, you know, if you work two jobs, you know, you'll be too tired. You feel that you'll be too tired or something like that, or you know, your employer may not allow. I think those times are gradually over. Okay, that's my personal opinion. I'm happy to take questions on that. Okay, next. Okay, next, MediSave. A lot of people look down on this MediSave. The MediSave also enjoy a 4% return. So for heaven's sake, resist the urge to use your MediSave. And the minute you have some medical treatment or things like that, in Singapore, most of the medical providers will quickly give you a MediSave form and ask you to fill up. Please don't do that. Use cash to pay if you can. Okay, use cash to pay if you can, because the MediSave if you use MediSave, you know, it takes away 4% interest. Your cash nowadays, what the hell can you get from cash? Put money in the bank right now is 0.something% interest. No, nothing, right? So the other one is more a Kungfu that you need to know. A lot of times there are what I call unsiamable MediSave expenses. Cannot siam, you know, unavoidable. Cannot siam one. And I've been very upset with the CPF for that because they should allow people to use cash. I think MediShield, they don't allow you to use cash to pay. And there are a lot of hospitalization insurance that they also don't allow you to use cash and pay, and which is very painful. So the only way to do it is the minute, fortunately, they were, you have a chance to, actually replenish back the CPF, the use MediSave with cash. Okay, you can top up CPF. So let's say it kept today, I think it's at 63,000, and let's say there's a payment of MediShield and a hospitalization insurance, and then it dropped below. You quickly use cash to top it up first. Okay, so always, so in that sense, it's no different from using cash to pay. Okay, this is a trick I've learned, and you continue to help me save. Think of your CPF, I say again, as a money making engine. Okay, the more you feed it, the more it will give you wealth. Okay, you not allow people to rob it, to allow yourself to rob it. You know, then the snowball rolling will become a lot smaller. Okay, so that's point number 4, and the point number 5 is called VHR, voluntary housing refund. Okay, the voluntary housing refund is a very interesting thing. Okay, and this is how I cheated a little bit, because I missed on the day before my birthday. I actually missed the 1 million by a bit. Okay, and I used voluntary housing refund to use cash to top it up. Now, some people say, hey, why would you do that? Okay, think of voluntary housing refund as a way to as a very high interest fixed deposit. Today, the fixed deposit rate, I think, is less than 1%. It's a miserable number. Okay, but if you could put money into the CPF, it gives you 2.5% minimally, and that 2.5% is enshrined in the Singapore Constitution, and you cannot, that 2.5% cannot be taken away without the Parliament debating and things like that. So therefore, it's important for everybody to realize that the 2.5% is very high interest. Now, some say, but then if I put money inside, you'll be locked up. It's true, okay? But when can you take it back? You can take it back when you are 55 years old. So therefore, logically, if you are 54 years old, then it makes absolute sense for you to, if you have spare cash, $10,000, $100,000 to put inside, and within a year, you can take it out and you earn 2.5% return. And the withdrawal is so much easy because it's so easy because they allow even pay now. I think you can allow to withdraw $200,000 at one go or something like that. And the lockup period is up to 55 years old. So therefore, between 55 to where you are right now, okay, so you can always put money inside, and you can put money inside up to the amount you have taken from your CPF for housing, okay, plus accrued interest, and use that as a high fixed deposit. Post 55 years old, that lockup money become unlocked. You can withdraw it anytime, but I will still encourage everybody to put it inside, because when you put it inside, okay, when you put it inside, you earn 2.5% interest at least, So this is a very powerful alternative to fixed deposit, okay? Now, for people like me, I'm 49 years old this year, so I got 6 more years to 55 years old. So my money will lock up for 6 years, which is, some people may not be happy and things like that, say, jalui and things like that. Come on, guys, 6 years, not that big a deal. You earn at least 2.5 interest. If you're not happy, take that money and buy S&P 500 or equivalent. There's an alternative that you can explore. Okay, so this is something I urge everybody to take a look. Okay, this is more a philosophical question. I get this a lot of times. Critics of 1M65 strategy and things like that. Okay, so the question really is a CPF millionaire a real millionaire? A lot of people say, yeah, this CPF millionaire, how you can see, cannot touch, and things like that. This kind of thing, right? At 55 years old, if you have $1 million, if you have at 55 years old, $1 million, $186, which is the full retirement sum, okay, will be taken out of your special account and parked into your retirement account, and it continue to compound at 4%, and that will be from annuity to you as a CPF Life. Above that, above your MediSave as well, anything you can take out. So it's quite liquid. It's not 100% liquid. It's quite liquid. But all this money are yours, okay? And all this money are yours. But is that the only way that you can become a CPF millionaire? Okay, no. Sorry, is that the only way you can become a millionaire? No, there are many ways to become a millionaire. There are many pathways to be a millionaire. The Singaporeans like this thing, the property millionaire, and that's fine. There are many Singaporeans who become a millionaire through properties, and I strongly urge everybody to make sure that whatever house you invest in is a good house that will yield good returns. Okay, there are many people who are stock market millionaire, which is the lower left box. The stock market millionaire, they buy stocks at a good price, and at a good price, and it appreciates, and you become a millionaire as well. There are crypto millionaires today. I kid you not, I hear stories of how a lot of people become millionaires. The most unbelievable case is that there was one boy, not that boy in the early 30s or late 20s. He on one day he invested $900 into a crypto. They call it ICO, IDO, whatever it is. Invest in crypto. And within 1 week, it went up to 850. That's what $900 US. It went up to 850,000 US. He showed me. I saw it. And of course, there's huge volatility before and after that. So there are many crypto millionaires as well, and I recognize there's also one path. There are also cash millionaire. Everybody wants to be real millionaire. Must be able to touch and feel the cash, and that's called real millionaire. That's not called paper millionaire. It's called real millionaire. And there's a lot of startup millionaire. People start businesses, run businesses. The valuation of company grows, and then they become millionaire, multi-millionaire, decade-millionaires, or even unicorn, where they become billionaires and things like that. All are okay. All are okay, including the CPF pathway. You should not limit yourself to one path only. That's what I want to tell you. Because if you limit yourself to one path, it's very high risk, right? We should explore many paths, because if you explore a few paths, one path collapses for whatever reason, you still have another stream of income that bring you to become a millionaire. And if all works or a couple of them works, then you become a multi-millionaire. Okay, and that's fine. I'm sharing and teaching you only one method, and you should also continue to explore other methods as well. Okay, and that's the very exciting thing of becoming a millionaire. Okay, so I want to wrap up this discussion. We can go to a Q&A. But before that, please, I say again, for those people who have joined our YouTube channel, please subscribe to it. There'll be a lot more exciting YouTube videos coming up, and some of them will go live as well. We have a YouTube. We have a Telegram channel. The Telegram channel today has 17,000 members and growing strong. And please join us. The Telegram channel is called Loo1M65. I used to be the one that first moderated this, but nowadays there are a lot of community experts that far outdo me. Very smart people, very well-to-do people, many of them richer than I am. Okay, sharing with you how their experience, how they make money, and you can ask them questions. I guarantee you, ask one question, 5% will be there to answer your question. Okay, and then you have a very enriching experience. This last point I want to say is that I heard of this and I agree with what makes you rich, and one of the way is surround yourself with rich people and well-to-do people. Okay, you are the average of the 5 closest person around you. Okay, now I cannot change your life and tell you who you should mix with, but I can tell you that if you immerse yourself in a 1 in 65 experience, you've got very good, smart, well-to-do experts, multi-millionaires. They're helping you. And I know a lot of them personally, and they are very public spirited. None of them ask a single cent. None of them are selling anything. Okay, and these are just our public spirited shares. So please join our Telegram channel as well. Okay, so with that, I've come to the end of my talk. One is 1M48A. Okay, I'll be very happy to take many questions. Okay, so all right. Okay, I'm looking at the is this the Q&A or the chat? I think this is a Q&A. Okay,
yeah,
so
there's a few questions here in the Q&A actually.
Okay, I will take those questions. I'll take those questions, and I'm happy to read them out, and then I'll answer. As I expected, someone asked, his name is Gogo. Mr. Loo, S&P 500 all-time high. Is it a safe time to enter now? I expect this question to come out. I get this almost every day, right? So as I say again, if you were to look at S&P 500, it's always almost regularly at an all-time high. Okay, since 2010 or 2009. Okay, so if you miss out if you refuse to invest at all the all-time high, you will have missed out the growth of 3 times. Okay, so there's never a safe time to enter. Stocks are always volatile. If you want to be safe, don't invest. Okay, But if you want to invest in S&P fund, you must have a time frame of decades, 10, 20, 30 years, the time horizon. Then you yield the full power of it. Next question, Grace. Thanks for the question. What are your thoughts around liquidity versus CPF? Even a couple achieve 1 million jointly by 48, they won't be able to withdraw everything at this point. Earliest withdraw the funds at 55. Why do you need to touch the fund so quickly? All the super wealthy people are so rich at a later years is because they didn't touch their money and let the money invest and compound. The minute you value liquidity, you got to forgo wealth. Okay, whatever you invest in, okay. There is always a trade-off. You invest in S&P fund and give you high growth, very liquid, but you got volatility. So if you invest in CPF, you got less volatility, good growth. Okay, so there is always a trade-off. You cannot have something, I want high liquidity, high growth, and safe. Don't exist in the world. That's called a scam. Okay, you got to experience a trade-off. And I have chosen to believe. I've chosen to believe that the trade-off for liquidity is wealth, high wealth, extreme wealth, and super wealth. Which one do you want? Okay, which one do you want? Okay. So next one, Mr. Loo, how much time and effort do you spend on monitoring S&P 500? How long do you suggest keeping S&P 500? I'll be frank with you. I look at S&P 500 every day. I do rebalancing maximum once a month if I need to. Most of the time I don't. Rebalancing means maybe across all my portfolio, I realize that this one too high, too low in composition, you know, then I rebalance a little bit. Most of the time I don't spend much time. I just look at it more heart itchy. In fact, my son Benjamin is asking me, you know, Papa, why do you need to watch the S&P 500 since you don't even do anything to it? He's right, you know, there's no need to do anything to it. The most I do is buy, forget, just leave it there and go on with my life. Okay, so in that sense, I don't need to monitor every day, although I still do. Okay, I've asked CPF, they say it's not max, it's still 37,700. My CPF statement says otherwise. Okay, once you top up once you top up, MA can't withdraw if need cash urgently. Yes, so you better have lots of cash. Okay, and only put cash in that you don't need. Okay, you got to have a trade-off. You cannot have cash. You want cash, you know, and you want growth. Don't exist. Right? I think I said this before. Okay. After 55 years old, still can do voluntary housing refund? Yes, you can. In fact, it's even better, right? Because the minute you put money into your to VHR, you can actually take it. You can actually take out anytime you want. Okay. The only problem is that you can only put in money up to how much you've withdrawn plus accrued interest. Okay. So next, Joy. From my understanding, sorry, you know, because I'm trying to go back, you keep jumping, sorry. From my understanding that we have to withdraw the SA money first, withdraw the CPF OA, how to avoid this? Yes, there is this concept called CPF SA shielding. You know, go to my YouTube, go to my Telegram page, there's an article that just ask for it, everybody share the article. And that's usually not a problem. You can shield your SA first and things like that. Next, by topping up SA and MA with compound interest, eventually can the excess money be withdrawn and keep the cap amount? So the rule is this, that once your SA exceeds $186,000, above that anything you can take out. And they will take $186,000 and move it over to our retirement account. From that, it becomes a CPF Life. Okay. If CPF Life after 65 really is CPF Life after 65 really good? CPF Life is only meant for sustenance. Okay, it's not meant for a high quality life. And the reason is that they pay you very good interest. Okay. So therefore, you need to plan more than your CPF, what your CPF Life gives you. Okay. You cannot take money out of your MediSave even after 55. You don't need to, because for sure after 55 years old, at some point of time you fall really sick. All you need to do is 2 big medical crises, the whole MediSave is wiped out. And most of people will wipe out their MediSave with their, I think there was a number given by CPF, and I don't quote me on this, I may have remembered wrongly. The average person after retirement will hit 6 to 8 hospitalization. Trust me, you will use up your CPF in your later years. Hi, Mr. Loo. Nice to see you. I'm a 31 years old working adult. I plan to contribute annually to my SA to build up my financial safety net. 2 possible options I'm thinking of: top up my SA with a maximum of 7,000 annually, so that I can maximize CPF relief every year. Second option is top up SA by 10,000 annually, so that I can reach SAFRS faster. Although this would mean that I'll lose out on CPF relief of 3,000 since I'm not capping my top up of 7,000. I feel option 2 is better because the power of compounding should outweigh the cash savings from this in long run. Do you have an opinion on this? The answer is yes. Go top up. If I were you, if I'm in a position, go top up the CPF as quickly as possible. Number one is that if you are young, your tax bracket can't be that high. You know, unless you are super high income, then you wouldn't be asking me this question. Most of us at the young age don't pay much income tax. Singapore, I recall some number, 60% or 70% of people don't even pay income tax. Don't see me, you know. That's why SRS is not even a big issue. Okay, so tax relief is not that big a benefit. The power of compounding is huge returns, you know. Every year, if I'm not wrong, me and my wife combine CPF interest just from CPF alone is in the tune of 40, 50, maybe even 60,000. I don't even know the latest number. There's a question: if the stock market does not correspond to the economy, is the stock market a bubble? No, not necessarily. Stock market is you think about who can get listed in the stock market. Okay, the companies that get listed in the stock market generally are good companies, but the economy is made up of father, mother, son businesses, individual, and things like that. So you can expect there to be some differences. So therefore, I don't think the Singapore stock market is a bubble. It's way, way, way laggard. So I think here you're referring to the US stock market. Okay, you know, this question of stock market bubble probably has been asked for the last 13 years. Everyone feels that it's a stock market bubble. Okay, and it is. You know, the good thing is that over last 100 years, over the S&P 500 or an equivalent like a NASDAQ, the market has gone up and down and down, but the general direction is still like that. Okay, you believe that the last 100 years experience will repeat? You know, I believe it will. I cannot tell you whether you will. Okay, Mr. Henry Lim, thanks for the question. I am a 70 years old with some cash. Share how I can use CPF to grow my retirement fund. Number one, I would say is that voluntary housing refund. You know, let's say you have used, let's say, $300,000 from your CPF to buy a house, and there's some accrued interest. The most immediate thing I do is to go top up my CPF and earn a 2.5% return. You know, at your age, I don't think you should buy too much of the stock because you know you should be enjoying life. You should be now spending money gradually and enjoying life. Will dual income contribution? I can't see you find a website. How do I do it? Because it's not listed on the website. Okay, you just work for 2 jobs. You know, the 2 jobs, the two companies will pay you the CPF. Okay. There are news that the stock market will crash soon. Do you believe in that? I hear this news since 20, 30 years ago. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not true. How do I answer you this? How do I answer this question? The only thing I could say is that I can almost assure you for sure the stock market will surely crash one day. Sure, for sure. 100%. I don't know when. Okay, I don't know when. Yes, will come, you know. But the best part of it is that, you know, I know that if it's a powerful S&P 500 or NASDAQ or those global stock index equivalent, they will rebound and continue to go up. You must have the financial guts to be able to stomach those ups and downs. If you cannot have a time horizon of 10, 20, 30 years and cannot stomach intermittent crashes, then you should never be in the stock market at all. Mr. Loo, any reason why you choose Infinity compared to Vanguard S&P 500? This Infinity 500 is simply because they are allowed by CPF to invest. The Vanguard one, I believe the CPF board doesn't allow. I do buy the S&P 500 outside CPF as well. In fact, I buy a lot more there. Okay, but today the talk is on 1M48 powered by CPF, so I'm going to focus just on those that the CPF can buy. And the answer is yes, I do buy other S&P 500 ETFs as well. Hi Lou, besides stocks, what are the good other alternatives should we invest in to ensure balance and diversity? I think a person should take a look at the whole asset, okay, in a very well balanced way. Some of the money needs to be in cash, some of the money needs to be CPF, some money needs to be in property, some money needs to be in stocks, and some money needs to be in higher risk stuff. And if you got and this whole thing is called asset allocation. You need to be diversified. I've introduced a concept called the Hwee Lapis investment structure. And I've actually a YouTube video on it. So please go to my YouTube channel and watch it. And for those 135 people on YouTube channel right now, please remember to subscribe to my channel. And it's very important for you to take note that the bottom layer of your Hwee Lapis, Hwee Lapis Qian Cheng Gao, the Gao Tim Kueh, your bottom layer must be something very secure, strong, and CPF, right? As you go up, maybe your property may go up, maybe you take some risk on S&P 500, NASDAQ, or whatever equivalent. That's not what I think. So when the wind comes and blow, some things will fall and crack. The top layer will go first, but your bottom layer is still there. That's how I structure a very strong Hwee Lapis investment structure. Okay. Mr. Loo, you have indicated we should use CPF to invest in S&P 500 when possible. Being a Singaporean and non-US citizen, would the US estate duties impact us if we use CPF to invest in S&P 500? The answer is yes. If you buy direct, but if you use CPF to buy S&P 500, the only company that allow you to do that is endowers. I think you should first come to our Telegram channel and have a discussion. We've got some endowers staff that join our channel there as well. I believe that they are actually registered. The fund is registered in Ireland, not in US. So your estate duties is a lot lesser, or if not none. Okay. I see some next question. I see some financial advisors ask client to pledge their retirement sum to do investment, but because there's no interest after the client passed away, what do you think? I have no idea what your question is. I assume that actually this is a question more for our friend on the estate side to do. I don't quite understand because once you pass away, your money will go to your beneficiaries. Okay, whether by the interstitial law, if I pronounce it correctly, or by through a will or through your nomination to a CPF. So for sure, it will be you'll be passed on. Okay. For some reason, this thing is gone.
Well, I think he's talking about financial advisors getting them to invest in other methods. Also, not really about estate planning.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So bottom line is that your money will surely go to a beneficiary. Okay. So next, I'm at 63 years old. I did not have full RA amount at 55. If I do housing withdrawal refund now, what will happen? What will happen at 65 years old when RA is transferred to pay out CPF Life? Will it make me less liquid? If you are 65 years old, sorry, you're 63 years old right now, and your RA is not too full. If you put in housing refund now, what will happen at 65 years old when RA is? Actually, I don't know. This one is an interesting question. I don't know. Maybe you can ask CPF. So the question really is, if I have less than $186,000, now I go and top it up now, would they go and sapu my money and throw inside RA? Then I got less money to take out. Okay. I'm not too sure about that. I suspect that it's okay, it's okay to that movement from from your SA to and your OA to RA is a one-time effort. I don't think they will go and plow again once you move past 55 years old. But don't take my word for it. Please go and check with CPF on that. Any other better options besides S&P 500? Oh, of course. Okay. How much risk are you willing to stomach? It's all about risk. It's all about risk and return. There are funds. Again, it's for cash or CPF. Okay. Again, I have my personal preference, and it doesn't mean that it's the best. For cash, I put some into a Nasdaq as well. Okay. And I know of alternatives out there. There are alternatives out there that are pretty pretty interesting, very well diversified global funds as well. So there are alternatives besides S&P 500 as well. Okay. How to make good use of money sitting SRS? It depends. I also put my money of my SRS money S&P 500 and equivalent. Okay. Mr. Loo, when do you see yourself enjoying your fully vested CPF money? Again, what do you mean by enjoying? That means go and spend. Well, when I need it, right? So if I need it, I'll go and spend it, right? I will see that probably beyond 65. I've saved enough cash as well. I like to see my CPF growing. I'm a weird person. I like to accumulate money. I don't like to spend it. Okay, but it's just me. So don't follow me. At some stage, shall I please enjoy life? Alan, thanks for the question. Hi, Mr. Loo. First question is, will you do SA shooting when you reach 55? So second, the answer is yes. Gives me more returns. Why would I not do it? Okay. Second question, if my SA reaches FRS and my Medisave reaches 3,000, the only way I maximize my SA before I reach 55 years old is only doing voluntary contribution subjected to 37,705. Any other way to maximize SA? If you are maxed out already, the only other way to work one job, 37,700 and 37,740. If you work two jobs, times two. Okay. It's not a loophole. It's not a loophole. It is basically it's not a loophole. I think the government will appreciate if you do it. They want you to maximize your CPF. Why would not they would not want to do it? Okay. I mean, that's my opinion. How are you investing S&P 500 ETF? Through which financial institution? Please elaborate. Tom, the only way you can do it right now with your CPF money is through endowers. They manage to negotiate a low fees rate and things like I don't know why there are no other companies that are doing it. Okay. There are 24 participants right now in video chat on Telegram. You're strongly encouraged to come over to the YouTube so you can see the slides. Well, actually now I don't have slides, so I'll just read it. So you can listen to what I say. Okay. And next, how about Dow Jones and Nasdaq index? None of these index are investable by using a CPF. You can use your cash to do it. Yes. I'm not a fan of Dow Jones for no reason, but I do quite a bit of Nasdaq. Okay. Yvonne, thanks for the question. Mr. Loo, may I clarify about CPF investment? If you want to invest, we use CPF OA instead of SA? Of course. Your SA has 4% return. You use your OA is only 2%, 2.5% return. Okay. Second question is, if we use our CPF OA to invest, do we still earn that 2.5% on CPF? Of course not. You take your money out already. Why would CPF pay you interest? Okay. Third is, besides S&P 500, are there other worth considering? The answer is I already said, there are alternatives out there, but most of them are for cash. Okay, most of them for cash. Sue, thanks for the question. What's the difference between using cash and CPF to invest in S&P 500? If you set CPF to S&P 500, there's only one company you can go to. That's called endowers. If you use cash, a lot more alternatives out there that you can look for. Okay. Next question, Lily, can I withdraw my OA after 55 and do the VHR? Why would you do that? You take out money after 55 years old to put back to your OA, through VHR. You don't do that, right? So yes, you can withdraw money after 55 years old above the $186,000, and your voluntary housing refund can do it anytime. Okay. At what point would you reallocate and rebalance our S&P 500 to our index? What's the recommended geographical mix? You see, there's no right or wrong in this. most of us will have a ideal stock market versus bond versus CPF versus property ratio. Okay, there's no right or wrong. It could be, let's say, one third, or 50%, 25, 25. Okay, and if you see this ratio go out, right, because maybe the stock market goes up too much, and you say that, I feel more safe and secure if I've got a little bit, gone too much, diversify into your CPF or diversify into property, okay, or diversify in other assets, it's perfectly fine. Within the stock market portfolio, you say that, okay, this S&P 500, this is some safe stock. This is a NASDAQ high growth stock. You may have a certain ratio, and if this ratio goes up too high, you may want to reallocate. That's how you do rebalancing, okay? Geographical mix, I'm heavily weighted on US, so I think very lowly of Singapore. So I can't be a good advisor on that, okay? I'm really at 65, what should you invest in, okay? As I said, first thing first, look into your CPF and make sure you take advantage of it. Otherwise, after that, do not think yourself at 65 is very old, okay? Minus the risk of a COVID pandemic, most of us live to 80 plus years old. So you've got many more years, and some of those things I said that you'll still take advantage. You can still take advantage of that. Next, 186,000 is the FRS amount. I think this is more a statement. Any restrictions to withdraw VHR after 55 years old? Yes, you need to first have $186,000. Above $186,000, you can take out anything, okay? So for next question, Janet, for someone who is already 62 years old, what would you recommend? I think I already answered the question. Next, I am 30 years old. I just got to know your 1M journey. I'm 8 years behind your I'm 8 years behind a recommended age to start the 1M journey. Am I still in time to hit this? How can I catch up? Well, you don't need to catch up, okay? You just need to start and quickly take advantage of all the instruments out there to invest, okay? Do not feel pressurized that you need to do by 65 or 50 or 55 years old. All of us start a different journey. My son plays the violin, and he started a bit late, and he enjoys the violin really very much. He's 18 years old this year. He just got grade 8. And then he told me that day that there's a 13-year-old girl that really grade 8, right? But you know what? I know that the 13-year-old girl has a high chance of dropping it because we see that quite often. I know that my son, who's playing the violin at 18 years old, is still enjoying it. He'll probably play for the rest of his life. It's okay in life to have different speed in achieving our life goal. It's okay, right? As long as you eventually achieve that, it's fine. Okay? Enjoy the journey. Hi, Tia Hua, I'm 69 years old right now. Is it worth to top up VHR, which means I can withdraw every time right now, right? Yes, okay, I think so, okay. I think we should all take advantage of this 2.5%. Mr. Loo, are you looking to go after ERS tier for your CPF life? Also to top up every year from 55 to 65 or 75 to enjoy CPF life payout? The answer is I haven't come to the crossroad yet, okay? I'm only 49, I got 6 more years to decide whether I want to top up my CPF, sorry, my retirement account all the way to the enhanced retirement sum, okay? But logically so, because the return rates are quite high and it's quite stable, okay? But it really depends on my health condition as well. If I'm like right now, what I am, I have a I'm very healthy right now. The way to beat CPF life to make you get more money is to stay healthy. Okay. Which CPF life option is generally is better generally? This is exactly my question right now. In order to take advantage of CPF life, you can ask yourself, what is your life expectancy? If your life expectancy, recently I've dropped my weight dropped from 89 kilogram in a few months to now I'm 74. I think right now for first time in my life, I feel that I'm going to live longer. Okay, so if that's the case, then if I'm going to live longer, then I feel that I can take advantage of my CPF life to get a high return. So there are 3 or 4 schemes. Try to pick the one that fits you better in terms of life expectancy. If I intend to sell my house next year, any differences to do? Wow, they keep jumping. I can't see. Any difference to do VHR before or after the sale of my house? Never thought of this question. If I sell my house next year, any difference to do VHR and after? I haven't thought through this question before. This quite unique. Why don't you ask the question in our Telegram chat? And I'm very sure there are some experts who have gone through this talk. We have got about 20 very good community experts, far smarter than I am, there to help answer this question. Are you someone who will use a robo advisory for investment? Other investing in S&P 500? What other investment vehicles you use? Hope you can share. Again, robo-advisor means different things to different people. I use endowers. They are often referred to as a robo-advisor, but I only use them for investing in S&P 500 because they are the only one that's approved for CPF. But they do have other instruments as well, and there are other robo-advisors as well. I'm not against that. I'm very against generally companies which are startup and you are expected to put money in them for decades. I don't have I'm a business mentor of many startups. Okay, I have a couple of startups myself, invested in them. I run two myself. I don't feel secure, investing in startups. For if I want to put money in them for 10, 20, 30 years. Okay, so in the case of endowers, they actually have a they're actually more like a reseller for UOB Kay Hian. So UOB Kay Hian is a lot more stable. So oh gosh, who is that? Yeah, please silent your. Oh gosh, how do you? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I think it's important for you all to understand it. Now, apart from investing in S&P 500, I said before, I form my Kueh Lapis structure. Okay, I invest in I put money in the CPF. I lay it up with S&P 500, Nasdaq, high risk. I even go to leverage investment and even angel investing and even run business and things like that. I haven't touched crypto yet, but I'm pretty sure in the very near future I'll go into it. Okay. At 65 years old, how do you decide whether you choose basic, standard, and escalating plan? What's the key consideration? Only one: life expectancy. You see whether your life expectancy is high and you adjust accordingly. Okay. I'm 69 years old now. Is it worth to do VHR, which means I can withdraw anytime? Yes. Okay. The answer is yes. Whether need consent from existing employer to get second job depend on your boss. I can't tell you this question, right? It's not illegal to go in 2 jobs. Market will not crash as well as supported by US printing machine. It depends. I cannot say that. The US printing machine, it has been going on for since 2008. Market still can crash. I can assure you that. Okay. So you have to, if you want to touch stock, you must be prepared for volatility. Okay. You must be able to handle big swings in stocks. What's my take on property market? New cooling measures likely. Most buyers are using CPF and government concern. A few months ago, no, actually, about close to end of last year, I've always been very negative about property market, but I was able to foresee a huge property bull run. I've actually published a YouTube video on it. Okay, and that's why I encourage everybody to watch my YouTube video. So at that point in time, I said there will be a property bull run. Indeed, the property bull run happened, and that's because of COVID. I think over time the government will like to, because the property prices run up quite a lot, but right now with the pandemic getting, in some sense, see the light at the end of the tunnel. I think, and with more foreign workers coming to build the houses, I think the government will start to introduce more cooling measures. I think starting from today. Okay. For those people on my Telegram, please mute your video. Next, which plan do you recommend from CPF? I answer that. Can we use SRS for CPF investment? CPF, most of the CPF investment SRS can buy, if I'm not wrong. Okay, I'm 69 or actually answer this question. Do you foresee changes of CPF rate in the 5 to 10 years horizon? I can't tell. Everyone has been telling the CPF interest rate will change since 20 years ago. Okay, so since 20 years ago, everyone has been telling me the CPF interest rate will change, and over the last 20 years, the CPF interest rate has not changed. Can it change? Yes, but will I be able to foresee? I can't foresee. When do you want to retire? Would you want to spend, and what would you like to spend your millions? You see, what's your passion in life? For some people, their passion in life is to sit back, relax, go fishing, or take care of the children, or go fly around. But there are people in my life, there are people I meet in my life, I just like to make money and do business and investment. This is what I enjoy doing, okay? And that's okay. So spending it, whatever I want right now, I want to spend, I already spend. You know, I don't value those things that that some people do. I don't like to drive big cars. I don't like to stay in big houses and things. I think my house is big enough. So whatever I want to, I spend. The people spend money on consumable goods. I spend money buying companies. I spend money buying shares, investing in companies, venture in business and things like that. That's what I love to do, and I've been doing that. So I'm spending my millions in that sense doing all those things. Okay. So Eileen Fu, does it make sense to put more money into RA to meet the enhanced retirement sum? The answer is depends on yourself. If you don't have a good alternative, you want a stable stream of income, you know, why not? Okay. Do you foresee Singapore adopting a wealth tax? Well, I'm not a politician, I can't answer the question. Okay. The only thing I want to say is that impose a wealth tax, the wealthy will run. The wealthy has alternative. It is the poor that doesn't have alternative. Yeah, from, you know, let's say if you assume you consider myself wealthy, there's a wealth tax, very simple. I put to another country all my wealth, so simple, right? What are pros and cons of investing in stocks versus bonds versus property? This is a very big question, but generally speaking, bonds and stocks are inversely correlated. Generally, I encourage investing in both so that it offsets the fluctuation of each other. Property is seen as an alternative. I don't think there is it's not binary that you invest in this, therefore you don't invest in this. I generally strongly encourage a well-diversified portfolio. Mr. Loo, with your concentration in US stocks, how do you manage the high inheritance tax issue? I already answered the question. Most of them are structured. Most are structured out of US through Ireland company and things like that. Okay, I'm still paying my housing loan with CPF. If I have cash, is it better off to pay off the loan? The answer is no. The loans right now you're paying is very low interest for sure. Okay, and if you I don't encourage you to use your CPF to pay the housing loan because the CPF sorry, I take my word back. I think I read the question wrongly. If you have cash, it's better to pay your housing loan using cash because your CPF earns a 2.5 interest. Your cash only have a 0 point something interest. Okay. Next question. Is it sensible to top up ERS when I'm 59 years old now? It depends. You know, if you have alternative for money that can give you high return, I think it is. But you have no other alternative, yes, I think enhanced retirement sum is a good one. Melvin Gunn, thank you for sharing, Mr. Loo. Do you see any major concerns holding part of your portfolio denominated in US dollars? I wonder, should I weigh my money more in SGD denominated S&P 500? That's a good question. While the US dollar, it has some risk here and there, but you know, the thing is this, okay? The US dollar risk, first of all, is an international currency, okay? If the US dollar goes down, the whole world goes down, okay? Your assets, Melvin, I'm sure your house is in Singapore. Your income is most likely in Singapore. Your CPF is in Singapore. Your job is in Singapore. Your savings in Singapore. Do you see more SGD risk than US dollar risk for yourself? Okay, so you're heavily weighted on SGD. Last question. With so much mumbling we hear about reintroducing estate tax duty, how would you protect your investment and CPF estate duty? And sorry, how would you protect your investment and CPF estate tax duty above? I can't tell. I'm not a politician, but I say again, this is where you know, estate planners comes in and do the best for you. I say again, the rich can protect. They just hire experts, you know, like PreceptsGroup to help them. The rich can protect themselves. It's quite easy. The poor will have a problem. I don't think the government will be mad to do something like that in a big way. Okay, I don't think so. Okay, and we have moved away from estate duties. We finally to move back. That's just my view. I could be wrong. Wow, that was a very fast. Run through all the questions. Okay, I think I reached the last question. Have I missed out any question?
There's a few actually they put it in the chat rather than the Q&A. And in fact, wow, we still have a lot of questions on YouTube actually.
Wow, Piang. Okay. Let me just go
Well,
quickly.
really good at sessions. Yeah,
okay, let me just take 10 more minutes if you allow me.
No issue. Don't mind if I just flash my poll at the same time.
Sure,
For those
do.
people, I think Miss Loo has mentioned about Endow Us, and yeah, they actually having a session together with us, PreceptsGroup. I also really like to thank Loo for actually be a guest talk speaker for today's session, our series of talks, and you know, engaging us. In fact, I also learned a lot. And yeah, I'm launching the poll itself, relaunching it. Yeah, so we have a session with Endow Us on 9th November, as well as today's session about estate planning a bit on the you know, a bit short. I do have a series of property trust, property succession, as well as our wills and trust talks. For those people who are actually watching this live on YouTube, you can actually send us to PreceptsGroup. You go to our PreceptsGroup website and then contact us and ask us to register for you for the talk. As you can see that if you are you log into the Zoom session webinar, you'll be able to ask the questions more promptly to the speaker. Right, okay, I'll hand it over back to Loo. For those people who want to sign up for our talks, yeah, please do help do it in the poll itself. Yeah, you have quite a number of questions on YouTube.
Okay, there isn't that many questions. I'll quickly run through it. Yeah, not that many. Okay, Marcus, sorry. Any advice? Sorry, Vincent. Any advice if I wish to use cash to invest in S&P 500? Are there regular saving plans options available? Yes, there are lots of alternatives. A lot of alternatives out there. I cannot give you all the alternatives. Sorry, GL, you need to mute, please. Okay. And there are alternatives. Go to my community in the 1865 group and just ask what are people investing. They'll give a whole lot of alternatives. Liner Gun, are you the Liner Gun that I know? Okay. If it is, good to see you again. At one point in time, would you Frankie? Sorry, you gotta mute, please. At one point of time, would you reallocate out of S&P 500 index? What will you? I think this question has been answered. Okay, Garrick, if one have HDB fully paid off and use X dollars CPF for housing principal and Y dollars for accrued interest, if not intend to sell HDB past HDB next session, do you see if housing VHR makes sense? In short, VHR makes sense if you want to use it for like a high interest banking, high interest account. I see absolutely no downside post 55 years old. Pre 55 years old, there's some friction, there's some lockup pain. Okay, but post 55 years old, I think there's absolutely no reason why you should not do it. Okay, and I think after 55 years old, is it still a good idea to do VHR? Yes. Okay, you can get high returns. Why we not? How did you chime in 200K in S&P 500? I think after COVID crash and a few tranches, I suppose. Of course, I put money into S&P 500. I put money in the S&P 500 during the crash. It's very easy to identify when a crash is. It's not easy to invest in it. It's just emotional guts. Okay. Would you think CPF Life is a good annuity plan for someone who's looking to migrate, live overseas in future? CPF Life is very high interest. I don't think there's other schemes that can help that can beat this system. The limit of 80,000 tax. Sorry, this is not even a question. How about tax deduction for CPF? Do you get 2 times? I don't know about that. I never thought about that on 2 times. Okay, it's said that. Okay, this is more a question. Someone asked. Oh no. Okay, someone answer a question for me. Okay, so I finished asking the question on S&P on the YouTube. Okay, all right. Wow, that was a speed answering. So for a 32 participant on the YouTube chat, thanks for joining us on Telegram. from people on the 200 over people now on
about 250, yeah.
250 people on Zoom, and thanks for joining us as well. I hope you find the session useful for you. Okay, and for those 100 over people on YouTube, really appreciate you joining us as well. You know, please continue to follow us on all our social media, and we hope to be able to be of a great movement to you. Okay, I say again, I don't collect a single cent from this. Okay, I don't get anything, no advertising dollar, nothing from this. And this movement is really created really to help fellow Singaporeans and people in Singapore. Okay.
Thank you for your messages on the chat itself. Yeah, we really find that for you all to enjoy the sessions. And remember, on PreceptsGroup's YouTube channel itself, we have one whole series of videos that was done by CPF board, as well as Public Trustee Office, right, and even Money Hour itself, and of course PreceptsGroup's videos to find out more about not only about retirement planning but also estate planning. Well, I would like to end that estate planning is just as equally important as part of your retirement planning. Yeah, don't just work towards thinking about reaching your 1 million, but also think about, you know, what happens once you have the 1 million. All right, thank you everyone for the wonderful evening tonight, and thank you Loo for being such a great speaker. And let's bring out our messages across to the whole Singapore together. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Be safe, everybody. Good night.
Good night. Be safe.
Good night. Good night. Good night. How do I stop share?